Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Tennessee Volunteers land a massive commitment in the 2024 class and forced their offensive tackle Bennett Warren from the state of Texas. And this dude has a rare blend of just sheer size, but also phenomenal athleticism. You're talking about a dude who's 6'7" and a half, 330 pounds, but he moves extremely well for his size. And again, that is rare at the high school level, right? You see a lot of recruits that are really big. They have that frame, but the athleticism isn't quite there. The reason you're looking at a top 100 national recruit here in Bennett Warren is he's not only big, he has that huge upside with his frame, but you're talking about a truly special athlete for his size as well. Now, before we dive into the film of Bennett Warren, which is a very, very fun film study, this dude is an absolute mauler. I just want to say thank you to you guys. It's been a blast talking this recruiting cycle with you guys, the Tennessee fans. You've been hot on the trail. We talked Edwin Spillman. We talked Mike Matthews. The support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. Trying to break down as many of these commitments as I can for you guys. So appreciate you rocking with the boys. And if you do enjoy the updates, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And let's get into Bennett Warren. And before we dive into the film, I want to use one word to describe Bennett Warren. And that's, I'll go two words, right? One, nasty. Like, this dude blocks in a nasty way. He's a mean dude. And the second word I describe him with, mauler. Like, powerful hands. He's consistently putting people in the dirt. And again, the athleticism, the ability to keep those feet moving. Bennett Warren, a really special athlete that, again, has massive upside with how big that frame is. Let's get into the film here. And then I want to talk about this Tennessee class in general and how it's shaping up. But firing it up on Bennett Warren. Like, the first thing you see, and you kind of see the first two things, athleticism and nastiness. I mean, working up to the second level, reaching a linebacker, putting him in the dirt, and then finishing off the block. Bennett Warren, I mean, it's hard to find offensive tackles that can work up to the second level, be athletic in space at that size. Bennett Warren shows that in a multitude of ways, whether it's getting to the perimeter, whether it's working up to linebackers, or whether it's just down blocking and putting someone in the dirt. Bennett Warren checks off a lot of those boxes again. Seeing him just road grade, taking someone, putting him into the parking lot, the power in his hands, the power in the lower body is truly special for Bennett Warren. And again, you see the feet too. You see the nastiness that he plays with. And then in the pass protection, like, he's got good feet. Like, that's probably the rarest thing. You have the length. You have the size with Bennett Warren. How are the feet looking? How is the athletic traits in terms of pass protection looking? Bennett Warren checks off a lot of those boxes too, mirrors the edge defender extremely well. And then this is a special rep. Like, look at the big dog get out in space and clear the way, and then to go find someone to just absolutely bury. You talk about a tone setter. You talk about a culture shift on this offense line, kind of like Darnell Wright was for Tennessee last year. That really could be what Bennett Warren is. Maybe some things to clean up in terms of technique, but you can't teach that size and strength and athleticism and length that Bennett Warren brings to the table. This is a special get for Tennessee in a class that, kind of where I want to start, is it's a top 10 class, adding the 19th commitment. I want to start with the offensive tackle position that, if you follow recruiting kind of closely, you hear scouts, you hear coaches say it's a down year for offensive tackles. I think Tennessee was able to land two really good guys, and two guys that I'm really familiar with from the state of Texas, and Bennett Warren and Max Anderson. As a Michigan fan, Michigan was in on both of those recruitments. They end up going to Tennessee. And again, in a class that maybe is not a premier offensive tackle class, the ability for Tennessee to lock up two really, really good offensive tackles in Max Anderson and Bennett Warren, I think is going to pay massive dividends. Because when you think about it, it's two tackles for you, and it's two tackles less for the other SEC programs and the other programs across the country that are trying to be able to protect the quarterback and establish that run game. And that's the one position that it's always hard. If you miss on a cornerback or a running back or a linebacker, those are positions that in the transfer portal are relatively easy to fill in. The offensive tackle, everybody wants an offensive tackle in the transfer portal. So I think it makes it a little bit more important to hit on offensive tackles in the high school ranks, because you can't always go get a starting offensive tackle in the transfer portal like you can at other positions that they have. And recapping the month for Tennessee, it starts off with Mike Matthews, a massive, massive get, committed mid-July, one of the best wide receivers in the class. He's going to be a difference maker for a long time in Tennessee. And then you take a look at some other guys that they've added. You really like the class. You have your quarterback one in Jake Merklinger. It looks like a phenomenal quarterback room is being cultivated with Big Nico in that 2023 class. You get Edwin Spillman, that if you're interested in my takes on Edwin Spillman, go check that out. Edwin Spillman, a very special linebacker in this class. And sitting as a top 10 class right now with only 19 commits in the boat, I want to take a look at some other guys that could be special for Tennessee to add into the class. And they're on the defensive side of the ball, right? A lot of our conversations around Tennessee and their recruiting has been they can get the offense. If you are an elite wide receiver, you're an elite running back, you're an elite quarterback, you want to go play for Josh Heupel and how he runs that offense. You won't see a more explosive offense across the country. Putting in guys out like Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, what they did with Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker, he wasn't even a starter at Virginia Tech. He joins Tennessee, and he's arguably a Heisman Trophy winner if he stays healthy. Tennessee's going to recruit fine on the offensive side of the ball. I think what a lot of Tennessee fans and those who have talked to in the comment section was we got to get those difference makers on the defensive side of the ball to take that next step. Two guys to keep an eye on for Tennessee in the month of August. One, Jordan Ross, 5-star edge rusher from the state of Alabama. It sounds like Tennessee has the inside track or as at least a leader in that recruitment. He says on Twitter that he already knows where he wants to go. Believe you're battling Florida and a couple other SEC schools for Jordan Ross. That would be a massive get. You talk about a difference maker in the pass rush. And then the next guy I want to talk about, and one that I think we could see a commitment relatively soon from, is Kamarion Franklin from Mississippi. Another 5-star defensive lineman, more of a big body guy, could play on the inside. I heard he's up to 280 pounds right now. You land one or both of these two defensive line prospects in Jordan Ross and Kamarion Franklin, you're suddenly feeling like this could be a special class for Tennessee. We know they'll get the offense, but can they land those difference makers on the defensive side of the ball? And one other guy you might as well shout out is Williams Emoneri, who I think is going to be committing at some point in August. I know Oklahoma, I know Georgia are probably the two front runners, but I know he's been on campus a bunch of times at Tennessee. Tennessee's lurking. And we've seen Tennessee lurk and land commitments like Bennett Warren, who was supposed to go to Texas A&M, who was supposed to go to Michigan for most of their recruiting process. If Tennessee can land one or two of those top guys on the defensive side of the ball, if you're a Tennessee fan and you're talking about what is the next SEC school to reach that premier program and join the likes of Georgia and Alabama, for me, if Tennessee can get some of these guys on the defensive side of the ball, those difference makers, I got no concerns about what that offense is going to do. My pick would probably be the Tennessee Volunteers. They seem to have this modern recruiting era tactic, the NIL, everything in line. You got to be really excited if you're Tennessee and where this program is going. But I don't want to ignore the massive get of Bennett Warren, a dude with big, big time upside. We'll call it on that. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. And if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.